Consent doesn't exist in marriage. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but when you get married, your body belongs to your husband.
I think trad wives would heal our very, very sick culture.
First off, how are you guys? I missed you so much. I am sorry I did not post as consistently. I swear I had 3 videos. I had 3 videos filmed, and as you can see, I'm literally wearing the same shirt, but it was like 90% edited at that point for all 3 videos. And then it was like, I can't have the best quality. I didn't have Wi-Fi a lot of the time, and it was just a hot mess. I mean, I did have Wi-Fi at the place I stayed at, but yeah, I apologize for being MIA, not as consistent as usual, but back to regular programming. I'm still finding my way with consistently uploading, balancing out life, working a full-time job, and just because life is lifing, right? Anyways, welcome back. I am Selena. Today we're going to discuss some viral content, and we have this new trad wife, or at least new to me. I feel like I never see these folks that I talk about. They just pop up on my For You page. Then I start diving into a rabbit hole, and then I share it with you guys, and we have a good time. So I'll share more of a profile for this video. Today we are talking about Savanna Stone. So we're going to kind of dive into her more recent viral video where she's sharing concerning advice for married people. And then we're going to dive into some responses and really just some of the things that she's pushing on her platform. Now listen, of course I'm going to give you my opinion at the end, but I do think it's important to see what's out there, and honestly, at the end of the day, we need to live our lives, but we also need to be aware of some things that are being pushed on the internet, especially if you're a younger person or you're someone that is looking for advice, and whether or not you want it to be on a social media platform. Sometimes things that just show up on your page, they start making you think, or you're just exposed to different things, and we're going to talk about that, okay? So Savanna Stone, she has over 200,000 followers on TikTok right now, and a lot of people say that she has rage bait content. I want you to tell me what you think, but let's dive into her viral video. Now she has several viral videos, but dive into her sex hot takes. And I do want to warn you, some of the things on her platform are kind of harsh, and I think they perpetuate negative stereotypes.
These are my sex hot takes. If you get offended, I'm sorry, but they probably apply to you, and the Bible is offensive. Number 1, corn is cheating. Even if both of you consent to watching it together, it is still adultery. All forms of corn is cheating, along with your smutty romance novels. And just so we're covering everything here, men, if you get off to any other woman other than your wife, you are committing adultery. Number 2, consent doesn't exist in marriage. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but when you get married, your body belongs to your husband and your husband's body belongs to you. 2, become one, body, mind, soul, and spirit. Number 3, it is your responsibility to stay attractive to your spouse. Just because you found the one doesn't mean it's time to let yourself go. Obviously, both of you are going to change as you age, but that doesn't mean to stop taking care of yourself. I'm really lucky to have a great example of this growing up. Both of my parents still go to the gym, they still eat healthy, they still take care of themselves, and they both look amazing. Number 4, chastity is reserved for fasting and prayer, not because you just don't feel like it. There are obviously many reasons why you should not deny each other as husband and wife, but women, specifically for your husband, when you continuously deny him, you are opening up that temptation for him to go elsewhere or to look at other things, okay? You two are one, body, mind, soul, and spirit. This video applies to married people only. Love ya.
Before we dissect some of those hot takes, I did want to mention that Savanna Stone is 19 years old. She promotes a conservative political belief on her platform.
I aspire to be Melania Trump. She is my new obsession.
And she kind of talks about feminism and how it's not how it used to be.
It's funny how feminism actually just gave the worst type of men exactly what they wanted. I mean, having as much emotionless sex as possible.
Let's dive into her hot takes. I could be biased. I'm not. I'm just kidding. I could be biased, but I did get married at 19 years old. Y'all know that. But I do have an interesting take on some of the things that she said. So number 1, corn is cheating, watching it together, including smut books. I disagree with the smut books. I mean, and also too, if that's your thing and you're doing it together, hey, why not? I mean, some people think that corn is cheating. That's not really my place to say. But I see nothing wrong with watching it together. If that's something that you and your partner consent to, You know, if you do watch corn, sorry we have to say that for the YouTube guidelines, but if you do watch it, I feel like, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong if you communicate that with your partner. You know, it gets kind of weird if you're kind of like hiding and stuff, and if there's an addiction involved with corn, but I personally don't see anything wrong with reading those smut books, or, you know, if that's part of your relationship and everyone consents to it, why not? We should not be controlling what people are doing in their relationships. I also don't think we should kink shame unless it's hurting someone. Unless it's hurting someone. Okay, so number 2, consent doesn't exist in a marriage. That's insane, okay? She says your body belongs to your spouse and two become one. I can see that. Being a package deal. If someone invites you to an event and you're like, okay, let me check in with my spouse, you know, that could be a package deal. You don't know what your plans are for that day, and maybe you want to use your spouse as a crutch and be like, oh no, like we're going to his or her family, their thing, whatever. I do believe that, you know, souls can connect. I don't know. But I just feel like, let me reread this because I really don't like the first part. Consent doesn't exist in a marriage. Yes, it does. And that's triggering. There are spousal rapes and there's intimate partner violence. I'm going to share some resources down below. She really needs to take that sentence out. I feel like she could have said, when you are married, to become one, you know, you're a package deal or something like that. But the way that she's like, oh yeah, consent doesn't exist, that's disgusting, and that is not true. That's against the law. Anyways, really don't like number 2. Number 3, it's your responsibility to stay attractive to your spouse. Don't let yourself go. This one, I don't like the way it's worded. The way that she said it, I feel like it's rooted in body shaming. And then she's like, I'm really lucky. My parents never let themselves go, in a sense. She didn't say that verbatim. That's kind of the tone that I got. What tone did you get? And tell me what you think about all of these hot takes, because of course, you don't have to agree with me, but I do want to hear your opinion. You guys know how this goes. I get the part of being healthy. You want to make sure that you're getting your fruits and vegetables in, yes. You want to make sure that you're not just sitting down all day. But I feel like as you evolve, number 1, you are not supposed to be your high school weight. I know a lot of people think that, and it's just an unhealthy thing to think that you were going to stay the same exact way you are as you were since you were 16 years old. You know how your metabolism changes, or how you used to be able to do this at this age, but now you can't. It becomes a very harmful thing thinking that way down the road, in my opinion. I recommend getting the resources you need, consulting with your doctor. I like to think about making sure you have enough muscle mass, making sure that you are nourished, okay? Being nourished is number 1, but also just the way that she said it, it just seemed like it was more so focusing on appearances. We could have reworded that to say, instead of, it's your responsibility to stay attractive to your spouse, it could have been, it's important to maintain your health and, you know, work together to be healthy. What if someone starts discovering their sexuality or feeling more comfortable in their sexuality, and that could be a reason why they're not attracted anymore? It doesn't always have to be related to weight. You know what I mean? That's just the vibe that I got, and I didn't like that. So number 4, chastity is reserved for fasting and prayer, not because you don't feel like it. Her number 4 is basically her number 2 about the consent thing. You have absolutely the right to say, I'm not going to do it with you tonight, I'm too tired. You just don't always have to engage in intimacy if you don't want to, even if you're married. Your body is your right. You have rights. You have a right to protect your body. You have a right to give your body what it needs. If your body's tired and you're not in the right headspace, you don't have enough energy to do it, you don't have to. Even though these were 4 hot takes, they are perpetuating negative perspectives, and I would hate for someone who is younger to think that. She says that this video applies to married people only. I highly doubt that if she's talking about chastity, because if you are married, you know, how is there chastity? I mean, you know, you can be married and not be intimate, I guess. Yeah, you can. But also, too, that makes no sense for that hot take to be just for married people. Now, you guys know I got married at 19. Yes, I'm still married. I ran into someone that I graduated high school with, and she was a senior when I was a sophomore. We were at the grocery store. I cheered with her, but I didn't really know her that well. She was like, are you still married? I'm like, yeah. I don't know. Anyways, and I just want to say that not everyone who gets married at 19 thinks the same. Yes, I know. When you are younger, you think you know everything and yada, yada, yada. I think I did think that I knew more than I did, but I also don't think I was arrogant about it. I had a lot of people telling me not to get married and blah, blah, blah. And they were like some random coworker or a random boss, actually, that, yeah, not a coworker. But I think it really just depends on where you're at in life and your partner. My dad approved. His parents approved. I don't want to say that I'm the outlier or whatever, but you know how people praise older couples who have been married since they were in their 20s or they've been high school sweethearts and now they're still married? I feel like there's a double standard when it comes to that. We praise those who have been married since they were younger, but when someone nowadays gets married at a younger age, 18 to 23, they're like, oh, that's not gonna last type of thing. From that perspective, I give her some grace with that, because just because you are younger doesn't mean you're going to ruin your life. If anything, you're going to learn a life lesson, right? I actually have no regrets. I mean, when I was 19, I was like, you know, I do think it would be nicer if I had more of a budget because we had to pay for everything ourselves. But you don't really need a lot of money to get married. I just slapped a belt onto my dress and called it a day. It was on the clearance rack. And you know what? I loved it. I do wish I had more pictures, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I usually give people grace in my videos. I'm going to give her some grace because she's 19 years old.
Engaged to married in 3 days. Let's chat about it, shall we? The 3 questions that I get asked the most often about my wedding story is, why do you not have any engagement photos up? Why do you not have any wedding photos up? And why do you not have a wedding band? And the truth is just because we did everything so quickly. And truthfully, I do not regret it one bit. It was so spontaneous. It was so unexpected that I was actually able to be really, really present in the moment. I wasn't thinking about all the details that you have to think about when you're throwing a big wedding. I wasn't thinking about how other people felt because obviously we didn't have a huge guest list and we saved a lot of money. So Noah and I knew very early on that we wanted to get married. I mean, it was just very obvious. We have the same values, same beliefs. I became a better person very, very quickly because of him and vice versa, I believe. So when it came to the time that we were talking about moving to another city and getting married, we took the SIMBIS test, which I have another video where I kind of talked about this, but I can do another in-depth one as well. It's called Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. It showed that we were 100% compatible. It showed us everything that we would struggle with in marriage, everything we would argue about. So we really went into our marriage being very, very prepared. We were like, okay, if we're gonna get married this young, we have to beat the statistics. We are in it to win it. We're committed to each other 100% and we're going to do life together. Found our dream apartment and everything, but the date that we had to move into the apartment was earlier than we had talked about moving and getting married. And because of our faith, we said that we were not gonna move in together before marriage. I also think that that causes a lot of damage to our relationship. So even though I knew the time frame, the proposal ended up being a complete surprise. It was beautiful. It was everything I could have ever hoped for. And as we're driving back from the proposal, Noah's like, oh, by the way, we're getting married on Saturday. I have everything set up. Like, he had contacted the pastor, he had contacted our families, he made sure everybody could be there. It was very intimate. It was just my parents, his parents, our siblings, and a few close friends. I literally overnight shipped a dress from Princess Polly. It was just strapless white dress, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. I actually had to work that day. I was doing professional makeup at the time and I had like 6 clients that morning. So I had to do makeup for 6 clients and then go straight to the church to get married. I ended up getting changed at work and everything. Came to work with the full glam. We actually had a hairstylist in-house that day and so she did my hair. Thank God. She had like 1 extra spot. She did my hair for me. And like I said in the beginning, it was really fun because it was so spontaneous that I didn't really have time to be stressed about all the details. I was like, I'm getting married. This is going to be the best thing ever. And whatever about the little details. Obviously, I didn't have much to plan. Like, Noah did it all for me. I just had to show up. So got married that Saturday. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was perfect. It was intimate and I was able to be 100% present at the ceremony. And the next day on Sunday, my mom had actually had an engagement party for us planned. So she invited, I think it was like 40 to 50 people and she rented out the outside area in a restaurant on the coast. It was beautiful. And everyone that wasn't at the ceremony the day before when we got married thought that we were just engaged. And at that engagement party, my dad actually announced in a speech that we were actually married. It was really, really sweet. It almost felt like it was a reception from the day before. And it's really funny because I will still get messages and comments sometimes from people being like, oh my gosh, you're married? I thought you were just engaged, because there's not any wedding photos. But we do some sort of bridal looking shoot at some point Most likely. Will I get a wedding band at some point? Most likely. I've honestly just been struggling to find one. And I kind of want to get it while we're on a trip or something, or when we do our honeymoon, because we haven't done that yet either. Just so it makes it even more memorable rather than just going to like a local jewelry store and getting one. Yeah, that is my engaged to married in 3 days story. If you are thinking about doing something unconventional or untraditional like this, but you're scared of what people will think, or you're just scared in general to take that kind of jump, trust me, it was so worth it. I don't regret it at all. I wouldn't change it for the world. And it makes for a really good story.
And I also think that she just has a strong desire to be an influencer. So I don't know. It kind of gives me rage bait vibes, but I don't know this woman. I wish her the best, but I really don't like the narratives that she's perpetuating on her platform because I know a lot of other people could be watching. Not everyone is lucky to be in a secure and safe relationship, but if you can find that at a young age and it feels right to you, I definitely think you should still try to know the person a bit longer if you can. But if it feels right to you and all the cards, I guess, stack up, then, you know, whatever. I do recommend a prenup if you can. You know, there's a lot of things going on nowadays. It just protects you. She did post another video about controversial rules in her marriage. Check this out.
These are some controversial rules in my marriage. To me, they're not controversial, but according to society, having rules at all is controversial and oppressive. But with the divorce rate being over 50%, I'm not going to listen to society. Number one, he is the head of the household, which means he is the final decision maker. Does this mean I'm not involved in conversations or decisions at all? No, but it does mean that at the end of the day, he has the final decision. Women, it is much easier to trust God and to trust your husband than to be a control freak. Number two, we don't do 50-50 and we do not call each other partners. We don't own a law firm together. We are husband and wife in a lifelong union. Number three, we do not throw the word divorce around at all. Not even to joke. Ending a lifelong covenant is really not something to joke about. So that word is just not in our vocabulary. Number four, we don't hang out with friends of the opposite sex alone. And we also don't text friends of the opposite sex unless it's something like, hey, can you text so-and-so to bring potatoes for tonight's dinner? I don't know. And if I do need to text one of our friends of the opposite sex, I just throw them in a group chat with my husband. It's a respect thing, and there's nothing that you should be talking about with someone of the opposite sex without your spouse knowing, unless it's like a birthday gift or something. And number five, we have very clear roles/chores in the house. I highly recommend establishing this before you even get married. That way there's no room for resentment. One example of this is Noah never touches the laundry and I never take out the trash. You guys love the first one, so here are some more controversial rules in my marriage. To me, they're completely normal, but with the woke society we live in, apparently these are all controversial. Number one is my husband's money is also my money. We never use the term my money. We always say our money. Nothing is separate. We have all combined bank accounts. We have 100% financial transparency with each other. Another rule that we have to add on to this is that when we want to buy something, we wait 24 hours and then we also have to ask the other person. This prevents compulsive shopping. And also when I see like a $70 shirt and then I think to myself, I have to go ask my husband to buy this, I almost feel stupid and embarrassed because I'm like, I don't need this $70 shirt. So then it's like a reverse psychology thing to not buy it in the first place. Number two, we have a 100% blunt and honest rule, meaning if there's anything that bothers one of us about the other person, we tell them even if it hurts their feelings. This means if somebody's gained a little weight or they're not looking their best, whatever it may be that may hurt someone else's feelings, in a marriage, you really need to be brutally honest. Just say it out of love. Number three is we have each other's locations. I don't think that this has anything to do with trust issues. Number one is the safety thing, especially for me, for my husband to know where I'm at and if I'm okay. And also, again, it's just a transparency thing. There's no reason that you need to hide your location from your spouse. Number four is we do not go through each other's phones. I think going through your husband or wife's phone is really weird and you've definitely got some trust issues there. We have a rule that if we ever even felt like we needed to go through one another's phones, we would go to that person first and tell them and say, hey, I have the urge to go through your phone. I don't know why. Can you reassure me that there's nothing going on? Which we've never had to do that. But in that case, that's what we would do. We wouldn't just grab someone's phone while they're in the shower and go through it.
I I just feel like if you're secure in your relationship and you want to give people advice, you would have a certain approach to it. Her approach is basically saying, you need to do this or you're not a good wife. If you're secure in your relationship, you don't have to say, this is how a relationship should be if you're doing it right type of thing. I feel like you could give advice and say, this has worked out for me. I got married at 19 years old. That could be unconventional to some, but I'm very happy. If this helps you, I'm happy to help type thing. Maybe I'm just kind of different. What do you guys think? It just feels rage baity to me. I don't know. Now the political stuff, she does kind of say things like Melania Trump is her idol and she kind of perpetuates conservative beliefs. If you're a conservative and you're into that stuff, yeah, you go ahead. Not over here. That's not really my thing, and I don't really discuss politics on here that much. I did not vote for our president, who is our president right now. Anyways, but I also don't want to necessarily say she is doing this because she is part of that political party. At the end of the day, do what you want with your platform, but we have to be strategic about the things that we're doing. Is it worth it if you're doing rage bait content? At the end of the day, when you go to sleep at night, do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you've made a difference? You're probably over there being like, oh, you just talk to the camera all day. I feel fulfilled doing these things. I feel connected with you guys. I feel like we have great conversations on here. But I do like reviewing things because besides what's going on in my life right now, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. And you know what? People need to take a break from reality. Sometimes they just scroll or they want to know that someone is feeling the same way or they want to feel educated about what's going on TikTok. I don't know. Some of y'all have said that my videos have helped you, so I feel like you guys have helped me too, and I think we have a good time over here. But I have a question. If someone is a TikToker or an influencer and you're just perpetuating such negative energy and rage bait, I just have to ask you, do you feel fulfilled at the end of the day? And listen, we're not all perfect and we're all still figuring it out. She's 19 years old. I didn't know everything when I was 19. It's a lot to go through. Let's dive into the collective comments. You just seem like the type to forgive cheating easily and attack the girl just to not divorce. Dang. You have to ask permission to buy a shirt? You're deaf a Trumpy.
Conservatives are learning how to blend in with liberals. I really hate when a pretty ass girl is a Trump supporter. I was following this girl like a few weeks ago. She just came up on my For You page. That's why I'm thinking of this. But I was following this girl a few weeks ago and like loved her content. She was funny. She was gorgeous. She just seemed cool. And all of a sudden she posted a video of herself at a Trump rally. And I was floored. Like, this was a girl of color. And nothing about her aesthetic gives Trump. Nothing about it. Like, she lives in New York City.
I think people like this are so chronically online that the only liberals they see are Hollywood celebrities who live in million-dollar mansions and couldn't care less who the president is. And of course, they're pretty. But let me tell you something. You calling 77 million people who voted for Trump not pretty or, oh my gosh, I'm shocked that they're pretty, is insulting. You're insulting an entire group of people. Obviously, you guys have nothing else to say that's valuable because the only thing I've been hearing from the left recently is that our makeup sucks and that we're not pretty. This is why you guys will never win an election again. You just can't put away the childish games, the bullying, the name calling, the nonsense. You hate when a pretty girl votes for Trump. It bothers you so bad that maybe she wants the nuclear family to be restored to America. Maybe she wants life, liberty, and freedom of speech. Maybe she doesn't want her kids to have 76 shots in their arm just to go to school. Maybe she actually wants to have kids and wants to be able to afford them and afford her groceries and not have to work 2 jobs while her husband's also working. I know you posted this for views from the mean girl liberal community, but please grow up. We're begging you.
Aren't you a stay-at-home wife? Of course you've combined income, but you don't have any money. Well, that's not true. I mean, she's a TikToker. They make some good money on TikTok. I know they don't make as much anymore on the TikTok Creator Fund, but they can make a lot of money, and especially if you have brand deals. So even if their money is combined, that doesn't necessarily mean she's not contributing. Before she did start posting, though, on social media, maybe she wasn't making as much. Homeboy definitely has Grindr on that phone. Okay, someone did say that he could be cheating on her. Check this out.
Denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay.
Men, if you get off to any other woman other than your wife, you are committing adultery.
She said getting off to other women. If that woman is not your wife, it is adultery. But what if you get off to a man that's not your wife? Is that one of those little loopholes? Speaking of loopholes, They both strike me as being very familiar with the poop hole loophole. I actually watched a couple more of her videos to just make sure I wasn't being such a cuntosaurus to someone who wasn't deserving of my powers. But no, she deserves it. I watched her say that being a stay-at-home wife and serving your man to the best of your biblical abilities is harder than having a career. I said wife, stay-at-home wife. And she keeps talking about things like, I've already had a career. I've been there. I've done that. I know how to type. I've click-clacked on my computer thingamajig. Have you guys seen the movie Life Size with Tyra Banks and Lindsay Lohan? You know how they like look at Tyra's computer and all she's doing is like typing Z's and F's and just like nonsense? Like literally when she talks about her like life and her career and all she's experienced, those are the moments when I'm like, oh, this has to be satire because you're 19, you've experienced nothing. You've had no career. And if you think being a stay-at-home housewife is harder than going to medical school to become like a cardiothoracic surgeon, girl.
You do have some people that support her saying, oh, she is a conservative, and then heart eye emojis. Someone says, I don't see how any of these could possibly be controversial. These are all great standards. And then Savanna responds, and that's why your relationship is healthy. She does respond to some people who don't like her content and leave hate comments.
You know, the main difference between me and the women who hate me and hate my content is that I pray for them because I know deep down they're miserable with themselves, while simultaneously they wish divorce upon me and leave hateful comments on all of my videos. So that should tell you everything you need to know about feminists.
Someone commented, you are 19. I also thought I was smart then. And feminism is the reason you are able to make these videos and have a bank account. Me, if I was delusional, girl, nothing wrong with your lifestyle, but feminism is not going against any of this. Feminism is having the choice, whether that be a trad wife or a business lady. You get to choose. Yeah, she does get to choose. And that's the thing with feminism. I feel like she has a choice to post what she wants. She's saying that feminism is poison now with the modern version and stuff like that.
I don't know why I'm so late to talking about this, but did you guys see that Anne Hathaway is starring in a movie called Yesteryear that was written by Claire Burke? And it's basically making fun of Ballerina Farms, which if you don't follow her, you must go follow her immediately. I think she's got like 10 million on Instagram. She's absolutely incredible. She's got like 6 or 7 kids. Her and her husband are on a farm. Like, what more could a woman want, honestly? But somebody called Claire Burke, who is just a miserable feminist, came up with a story about Ballerina Farm, that she was groomed and that she's a trad wife and her children are props, and just all of these awful things about a woman who simply wants to be a traditional woman, wants to be a mother, wants to be a wife, wants to bake homemade sourdough all day and take care of her farm animals. And it's really disturbing and disgusting that we've gotten to a point in society where we're making fun of traditional women, women that want to be good wives and mothers. And deep down, I know all of these miserable feminists are the way they are, and they're miserable because they don't have a man that's protecting and providing. They don't have a life like Ballerina Farm. And this is why I say all the time that I'm an anti-feminist, because modern feminism is poison. Making fun of what makes a woman special is really demented. And this is literally the reason that the birth rate has declined so much, because women like Anne Hathaway, and I wouldn't even say she's really a woman, are poisoning the minds of young women who are aspiring to be mothers and aspiring to be wives. She's poisoning their minds and telling them that no, it's actually better to be a career woman, and it's better to fly to Hollywood every single week and pretend to be somebody you're not for your entire life and career. So shame on Anne Hathaway, shame on Amazon for producing this movie, shame on Claire Burke for writing the script. I don't even think anybody knew your name until now. Imagine being famous for making fun of a mom and wife. How disgusting. And let's bring back trad wives, because I think trad wives would heal our very, very sick culture.
And she has some things that I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, I don't know what prompted her to say that, but she has this video where she's saying, I went to my favorite coffee shop today. I got my raw milk. I'm dressed in all Lululemon. Imagine how this is oppressive to some people.
Okay, hear me out. It is a Thursday at 11 a.m. I'm in all Lululemon. I went to the gym this morning. Then I went to pick up my raw milk, went to my favorite coffee shop, got my latte, came to the grocery store, got steaks and ingredients for tonight's dinner because we're hosting. Now I'm gonna go drop off some clothes at Alterations, maybe help my husband with accounting and tax stuff, clean the house again because we're hosting, so I'm gonna do a deep clean. You do have to find the right man who gives you the option to do this, but imagine how much propaganda it took to convince women that this is oppressive.
Did anyone say that was oppressive? I mean, you have the right to do whatever you want. But people say to that video, girl, get offline, then go be in the home. Me, when my frontal lobe hasn't developed. We are not put on this earth to save men. I did see her on my For You page, and I feel like she was getting discussed a lot. And you know what? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just kind of give you guys information, and we kind of hear from other people on the internet, and I give my opinion. But what do you think? Do you feel like you would follow someone like her or follow her? Do you agree with some of the things that she says? Do you agree with some of her sex hot takes? That was the biggest video. I know someone that was giving me some smut book recommendations. I tried it, but the beginning was so slow. I have not read even a chapter of those books, but I'd be open to. Why not? But I do feel like it takes a while, at least for that book, to get into the nitty-gritty. I think it was A Court of Thorn and Roses. Just from book talk that I've been following, there's a lot out there if you just want to read stuff. But yeah, I like to read all kinds of stuff. I like to read biographies and memoirs. I read Britney Spears' The Woman in Me last year. That was super good. Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, last year. That was really good. And I'm excited to see that series. But yeah, I read anything. Maybe I'm just more, who cares? I support you if you feel loved and supported. If you like to read smutty books, go for it. I just care that no one's getting hurt. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever you do in your marriage, as long as it's safe and people consent, who cares? We shouldn't care about what people are doing with their private lives. It's not affecting you, especially strangers on the internet. That's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? You guys know how it is. Other than that, how has your summer been? I cannot believe it's July. Oh my gosh. Where did July go? Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys being here still after I've been MIA for a little bit. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video.